Oh, you have it, okay.
Good evening. So my name is Sanders Abdulaziz Murphy. I'm the newly elected president of the UMBA, Universal Muslim Business Association. So we have about 196. Our executive told us that it was 96 as of today. So we have a question, but before we get to that question in regards to the arena, I want to say that I'm a businessman, right? And I understand numbers. And I have a saying that men lie, women lie, but numbers don't, right? And when you look at this, we're not putting out no money, but we're getting money back, right? So when you have our children dying, when you can allocate money to the unions, when you can allocate money to programs, like these young kids, give them a round of applause. They can be the best photographers in the city of Philadelphia. That's what's important, because let me tell you this on a personal level, right? I watched my brother-in-law die from 7 bullets in the head. I watched my nephew bleed out in the operating room because they couldn't stop him bleeding. This is personal. I don't have to be here. But it's personal because we understand that business is the economic development to being a better Philadelphia. I don't care what nobody says. I'm telling you what the facts say. So my members have a question. Majority of them are in support of the arena, but they have a question. So the question is, as small minority business owners, will there be assistance in helping us get qualified to be a potential vendor for the arena?
Thank you for your question. So yes, the economic opportunity plan includes a lot of different specified details that require the Sixers to do outreach. It's also important to note that the City of Philadelphia has the Office of Economic Opportunity. We have the new Office of Minority Business Success, and we have been planning and developing programs to help provide small businesses with access so that they will be able to transition into one of the people receiving these opportunities.
Listen, I thank you for that. Let me tell you why what you said touched me. I've watched minority developers want to get into the business of rehabbing homes. They may have the skill set, they may start the business. Guess what they couldn't do? They couldn't get the bonding to actually make their business legitimate so that they can hire people and work with unions to hire union workers. They couldn't get the bonding. That meant that they didn't have the disposable income to get the licensing and the permits, the insurance, everything that they needed to be for to become legitimate. So instead, how many people, I remember this term, it's not a good term, but it was a term that was used when I was growing up for somebody who had the skill to fix things, and they would come to the house to fix things, but they never got certified. You know what they were called. They never got certified, they never got licensed. They ran the business and did the work, but they never formally and officially became the business. Out of the shadows, we want you. We want you to be contributors to Philadelphia tax base so we can grow the pie, fund education, fund anti-violence initiatives so that we can help put people on the path to self-sufficiency. So the Sixers already negotiated with the Chamber of Commerce's, all of the ethnic chambers, that we didn't negotiate for them. They did that as we came along. The CCME, everybody builds multiple opportunities, so thank you for the question.
Hello everyone, I'm in Local 332, and I'm a laborer. I'm a woman, I'm a laborer, and I'm down for this. And the reason why, I see a lot of older people complaining about this, okay? We're not gonna be here that long. We have to do this for our young people. Our young people. I got grandkids that I want to be a part of that arena, be a part of SEPTA, be a part of the policing that we need for this. We need Philadelphia back. Our city is, I went down Market Street, it's dead. We need this arena and we need to be patient. Philly is not patient no more. We need to be patient, let them do this, and we need revenue in the city. The meeting that Sherelle had, and I'm telling you, I grew up with Sherelle. She was a Wildcat cheerleader, y'all. Wait, let me tell you. Like she said, who want to keep going all the way out KOP? I don't. Bring them designer stores here so my grandkids can get on beautiful SEPTA, because they get ready to fix every station. Beautiful SEPTA underground, come up and shop, and then go to a Sixers game, come back out, shop, have fun down there. You want to have a policing? Chinatown too, because I love my Chinese food, okay? Y'all gotta be patient. Let them do this. It's revenue coming here. But the older people, I understand your pain. Okay, I'm getting up there. But this is for the young down, y'all. It's for them. Let them do this. It's for them. Okay? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lance Biggs. I'm an Eastern PA and Delaware political organizer for SEIU, Local 32 BJ. We are the Service Workers International Union. We represent cleaners, security officers, building engineers, and many other classifications of workers who tend to be overlooked, if not invisible, to people who take their contributions for granted. As an organization, we support the building of the new Sixers Arena because it will bring a large number of union jobs to a part of our city that should be one of our main economic hubs, but hasn't been for years. We support Chinatown in efforts to preserve it. We support businesses around the proposed location of the arena. We also have been working to deal with a changing center city landscape where 12,000 of our members work, but have been facing commercial building vacancies and possible conversions that significantly threaten their ability to support their families. The stadium stands to rejuvenate East Market Street, and though it will come with challenges, overcoming those challenges will offer working class Philadelphians opportunities to vastly improve for years to come. That being said, the question that I have is there a plan for oversight? Periodically checking in to make sure that the terms of the CB are actually being met, and if anything is being a new challenge or anything is getting off course, that those things are corrected.
I'm going to let her tell you technically where the safeguards are, and I know we just continue to be in communication with City Council about this, so she's going to give you the legal answer, but I've got to come back to what you just said about those empty buildings downtown where 32 BJ members work.
Okay, thank you for your question. So yes, there will be an oversight committee. It will be comprised of a member of the law department, a member of the mayor's office, someone appointed by the mayor, a member of city council, a member of the Office of Economic Opportunity, a member of the building trades, and there are a couple other parties that will be convened for the oversight committee. We recently negotiated an additional term that requires that oversight committee to also do enforcement. So they will also be receiving reporting monthly, annually, and quarterly, both during construction and operations of the arena, and that reporting will go to those parties. It will also be made available publicly as well on the city website.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Lance, I just want to, again, for the record, affirm this to you. You're young. My grandmother was a domestic worker. Some people don't know what that is. She worked, but she worked for multiple people. And when you clean their houses, they would leave like an envelope, a cash for you on the table, and you go from house to house. But when those people paid you cash, those wealthy folks paid you cash to clean their houses, what did they in essence do? They took you out of the tax structure when they paid you under the table. And Lance, guess what? Mommy, Aunt Rod, Aunt Mary, they didn't have an SEIU 32 BJ. They didn't have a Domestic Workers Alliance standing up for them. So for me, very early on, I don't know if y'all remember when Delaware Avenue was a once proposed location. I was very, very clear with them. If you're not talking about the stadium being built by unions and being operated by union workers, that's SEIU, and yes, that's the Unite here, you shouldn't even have a conversation with me. So I just want to be real clear about where my values are as it relates to labor. And those buildings are empty, and we want you back working.
My name is Tony Barr, I'm the Community Liaison Director for Philadelphia Wednesday. So, the question that I heard a few things thrown around. So one thing I love, two things I love, was community and youth engagement. But can you talk about the benefits of the elders that's going to be coming from this also?
I don't know how many of you saw. Can you bring up the 1.2, I think it was $1.2 million PHLTCD for cleaning? If you can bring, if that slide is back up, it was part of the CBA. Whenever we talk about the housing, of course, we've got to think about our seniors. And one of the things that I heard from the Chinatown community of leaders who I had the opportunity to engage with, and it was one of the things I'll tell you that I respected a great deal, how they uplifted their elders and talked about the need for senior housing and even senior employment. So that program right there, the $1.25 million, it's a program working in coordination with PCDC, the Chinatown Development Corporation. Guess what I was surprised at? They use this program as a tool. Right now, Chinatown uses this program as a tool. And one of the highest percentages of employees who work there are the elders in that community. And Councilmember Mark Squilla, who has been vigilant, who has been persistent, has been very clear. He knows about the 30,000 units of housing that we made a commitment to. And he's very clear about he wants to see affordable housing in Chinatown, and we made a commitment to work with the council member to do that. So you're right, not just our babies, but the elders too. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Greg Benjamin, and I'm from Southwest Philadelphia, and I had questions initially because I come from a community that was inundated with development. And one of the things we didn't have was a real understanding of community benefit agreements. And even when we started learning about them, the other thing we didn't have was an experienced voice in leadership that really understood that it wasn't just for the developers to talk, but it was for the community to understand. And for what you did this evening by coming and giving this explanation of what we can look forward to, realize that we do need community benefits agreements that do produce, or can produce, let me say, positive opportunities for the community, for families, and for the schools and other important areas. But I'll close with this. When you ran, I was one of the people that supported you when it wasn't popular. But I did it because I saw you had vision and you cared. After you won, you're the same person. And so, as long as this is taken, that's all good. Because I really believe in your leadership. And I believe that you care about the city of Philadelphia. So I'm in support of this agenda.
What is your question? How does community decision impact your administration?
Say it again for me.
How does the arena impact your administration moving forward?
Oh no, listen, tell me what's your name?
Alfreda.
Alfreda?
Yes.
Alfreda, this is it. This is it right here. People don't like to talk about this. When you think about the budget that we passed was a $6.37 billion. That was my one Philly budget. That's how we run and manage the city of Philadelphia. All of our employees, the pensions, the salaries, the health care, the services that we buy. This is the pie that represents the budget. But this is the part no one wants to talk about. It's sexy. And it'll get you a round of applause to say you're down with the billionaires. Let me tell you why we need business. Because 67% of the total revenue that helps us run the city of Philadelphia, guess where it comes from? Business taxes. If I'm going to be a mayor that's going to deliver on making you safe, clean, and green, and that economic opportunity for all, not a speech. What did Mongo say to me? He said, Cheryl, I know you want to bring hope, pride, and dignity back, but you can't eat hope. You need a living wage, and health care, and retirement security. So that's what we're committed to, while making sure it's not either or. I want you to pay very, very close attention to people who are using this as an opportunity to draw a wedge with two different constituencies who have a right to be where they are. But some of them are engaging in tactics that are extremely divisive. And I'm being as diplomatic as I possibly can throughout this process. But we won't destroy Chinatown. Not on my watches, Mayor. I won't see it because of what I experienced. You all remember people talking about predatory loans? You know what they are, but you know what they didn't talk about in my community? And nobody organized about it. They were predatory purchases. They came to these store owners with suitcases full of cash, but they were ripping the people off. I never saw $250,000 in my life, but when they did the time value of money equations, what is that? You've seen it up here when they talk about the net present value and the future value, the value of $1 today versus the value of $1 tomorrow. When those people came with that cash money in those suitcases to buy those businesses in those communities, they knew they were ripping those people off. They knew the wealth that was in the community, the value that was in the real estate. Listen, here, take this little $150,000 more cash than some people had ever seen at one time, and they signed the deal. And they gave their real estate away. And they no longer ran those businesses. And nobody came to talk about anti-predatory purchasing fund for businesses in the neighborhood. Because of that, I'm telling you, I won't allow anybody to destroy our Chinatown. We can do both.
All right, Reverend Holston. Reverend Holston. Pray for me, wherever you are. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Asantwa Nkrumah Toure. I'm an organizer with the Philadelphia Tenants Union. I'm also with the Justice for Angel Davis Now campaign, and I'm also with Black Philly for Chinatown. Now, to our young people, I hope you're listening very, very carefully, and I hope you do your own research. Because one thing about the 76ers, they are billionaires that do not live or vote here in Philadelphia, and they don't pay their fair share of taxes to properly fund our public schools. Now, Mayor Parker, one thing we need to make very clear to this audience is why is it that you never met with the people of Chinatown before you negotiated the community benefits agreement with the 76ers, even though they asked you 6 times, and you either refused or you did not respond. Secondly, we also need to ask the question, and we have in the coalition, we have some brilliant minds on our legal team and our research team. And if there's anything unethical or illegal, we will find it. So, we also need to know why is it that the PIDC is suing or trying to sue the Save Chinatown Coalition for making requests for important information. That's what we need to know as well. And let's tell the truth about the truth to these young people in this room. And if you really care about jobs, have a campaign to raise the minimum wage, a campaign to prevent wage theft. This is what we need to do. Thank you, and God bless Chinatown.
Yes, tell me what your name is. Excuse me, ma'am. Tell me what your name is again. I heard
Asantwa Nkrumah Toure.
Listen, I love the whole name, but when you say Nkrumah, I get warm and fuzzy. Nkrumah, he's a graduate of Lincoln University. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of the free Ghana. So when you said that, you just made me warm and fuzzy. But let me just go back to your first question for a minute. You asked me why did I deny the Save Chinatown Coalition or Chinatown leaders 6 times. I want to say this to you. I want you to hear it directly from me. Tiffany Thurman from my office, the chief. And we're good at a few things. You know, I'm a teacher by profession. I'm an English teacher who happens to be the mayor. I appreciate homework. It's a lie. It never happened.
Okay.
This coalition, remember, now I know it doesn't seem like that. It feels like I've been here for years. I just got here in January. Meetings have been ongoing about this arena for years. I was in city council, Councilwoman Jamie Gaultier and I. We served together. The first location on Delaware Avenue was my district. I was a district council person. But the meetings and the research with the administration, I told Tiffany, you won't dare go through this list of meetings that the coalition had with members of the administration prior to my arrival and since I've been here. So it's a little disingenuous to say that I, Sherelle Parker, as mayor Philadelphia refused to meet with Chinatown leadership. One, that's not accurate. Two, I did meet with stakeholders in my office to, one, hear from them directly. We had done our research. We read the data, the proposals they were about to go up on a line, I think maybe even the same day that we met that evening. The data became public, and I heard from them. Some elders in the community who I respect a great deal. They've been around a long time and seen a lot of changes in that community, and I heard them. And I don't know how much more to affirm that in every way imaginable. I don't care if it's the Fusion 30,000 homes plan that we have, the building of new and preservation of existing, the commitment to Councilmember Mark Spiller, who's been very clear about the need for affordable housing in Chinatown, and that there's no way that he could have seen this moving forward without that. That commitment has been given. So to say that who was coordinating your meetings, I don't know who they were, but it's unfair and it's an untruth for you to say that I refuse to meet with them.
You negotiated a community benefits agreement without their presence.
No, man. I want you to hear me. Without your consideration or their quote-unquote presence, were they sitting in a room with me while we were doing it? Absolutely not. But we had volumes upon volumes of data that we had from meetings that they had with the prior administration. Some people had notes that they had given us. We had reports where they said,
we're only talking about this.
but now see,
that's all.
Now see, you can't pick and choose. You know the data was collected, and it was starting to be collected long before I arrived. That's a little disingenuous and not fair. Yes, ma'am. And I don't know about Sarah, is PIDC suing somebody?
And I'm glad to clear this up because I heard it last night at public comment also. There have been a number of right-to-know requests submitted to the city and potentially PIDC as well regarding the transaction. Many of them have been responded to, and we have produced a lot of documents. Many of them also, as with any right-to-know request, we look at it for whether it's overbroad or whether it's requesting information that is not covered by the right-to-know law. When we do not produce, a lot of times, the dispute goes to the Office of Open Records, the OOR. There was a decision by the OOR that the city was not happy with, my office was not happy with, and we appealed to the Court of Common Pleas. That is the first level appeal. That is our right to appeal if we are not happy with the decision. It is not a separate lawsuit. It's not a lawsuit against the community members. We're not looking for damages. There are no claims. It is simply a first level appellate review that goes to the Court of Common Pleas.
Now, I just want you, the viewing audience who's paying attention, if you're present or you're watching live stream, what would have happened if our city solicitor wasn't in the room right now? And a person just stood up and said that PIDC was suing the Chinatown Coalition, and the lawyer wasn't here to correct the record with the facts. Who would have left here and posted on social media that PIDC was trying to, but you see why it's so important to listen and we might not like the answers, even when it's not something I agree with, but it's important to listen to the explanation.
Hello, Madam Mayor and Cabinet. My name is Victoria. I live in West Philadelphia. I'm going to tell you one thing first. It's personal for me. My grandmother's house is part of the New Jersey Turnpike, number one. Number two, I'm greatly concerned about all this talk of unions. And I would like to know what percentage of those employees that will be on those sites will be minorities. I would like to know what percentage of all of these entities and agencies will be minority. I would also like for you to explain. I'm sorry. Excuse me? I'd also like, my friends tell me to speak
Yeah,
up.
she said not minority. What she said was black. That's what she said, yes.
How many of your unions and folks that are involved in this project will be people that are black? And how many of these unions, as we speak, have any apprenticeship programs for people like my son, who's 23? What about these 30,000 units of affordable housing? But we didn't honor our commitment to the university townhomes, which is a gigantic hole in the ground. We didn't honor that commitment. You, because the agreement was with the city and the university townhomes. I read in the Inquirer, maybe they're wrong, and I'm sure I could be wrong. Don't get me, I'm not trying to say that. But I see no activity on that, on those affordable housing. I see no activity on affordable housing throughout the city. As a senior, I see, my name is Victoria Leonard.
No, you gotta say, because one, I'm glad you're here, but and she's gonna share, and we're gonna let her give the answer, and hopefully it's the one that affirms that the city of Philadelphia under my leadership did not abandon that project. And I just want to, but it's fine, but you see, if the facts are present, a narrative that's inaccurate is circulating, and people begin to think that's the case. But the first question. The first question I want, this is something that's never happened before. And in a recent hearing, I think they wrote about this, that the building trades, and I know the building trades that you know. I know the building trades that I grew up hearing people talk about. It's not for black people. It's only for white people. Irish and Italian people, black men are not. I know the ugly history. Let me tell you about the building trades I've been working. Let me tell you about the building trades I've been working with personally since September 2005. This is a product of the leadership right here. The apprenticeship and the budget that we just passed. We have a pot in that budget to fund apprenticeship training for the city. He was here. The Sam Satan Junior Apprenticeship. Look, just give me. You made the comments, so now you gotta let me respond. Sam Satan Junior Apprenticeship Program. We have the CCME. We have everybody bills. There are multiple. The carpenters have the CART program. There are multiple vehicles that Sam and Ryan, this is your industry. I don't profess to know it better than you, but this is the one thing I can say. I think we have more points of entry to the building trades now than I have ever seen in my life since I've been elected, and I first got elected in 2005. I want them to respond because that's a good question.
Well, first, you said the numbers. What percentage? The building trades now are currently 28% black or Latino. That number will go up because each apprenticeship class, and you also ask apprentice. Every building trades union has a registered apprenticeship program. We spend $48 million a year on those apprenticeship programs. But not only that, $48 million per year on apprenticeship programs, and only 10% of that being from the government a year. So we're bigger than major school districts. Number two, not only apprenticeship programs, we have pre-apprenticeship programs so that we'll prepare you for the apprenticeship programs. She talked about CART. We have Rosie's girls with the electricians. And we have the precursor to all of them, the Sam State Senior pre-apprenticeship program. And then we went further. We went to the worst high school in Philadelphia, Strawberry Mansion. We took every senior in there. When they graduated, they had an OSHA 10-hour, they had a respiratory therapy, so they could work on any construction site in Philadelphia. And then we still do it with the parochial schools as well at Father Judge. So, and then ongoing jobs, SEIU, I would hazard to guess is around 75 to 80% African American and Latino.
I've been coming to the hearings, and one of the things that kind of disturbed me is a lot of people just talking without having facts. And I think that clearly, my name is Sam Staten Jr. Clearly, I testified in front of City Council, and I clearly stated I was not a paid person to come in and testify. Because I lived in Philadelphia all my life, and I've been to Chinatown quite a bit as a young person. But I got a history lesson when I testified. Because when Chinatown was asked the question, how many black people they employed in 500 businesses they had, they said 3. They said 3. So here we have people sit here and testify and talk about Chinatown, like something's happening in Chinatown. In reality, the mayor is trying to put a perspective on Center City. As a young kid, I visited movies downtown. I visited the gallery downtown. And you go downtown now, it's ghost town. You cannot tell me this arena will be not positive for Center City. Everybody's gonna make money. The business is gonna make money. Chinatown is not gonna be able to cook the food fast enough in Chinatown. I don't have a pity party for Chinatown because, again, the lesson I got when they said 3 people of color work for out of 500 businesses in Chinatown, that really disturbed me. So it bothers me when I see people get up here and speak on behalf of Chinatown and don't know some facts. Make them work for what they want to. The mayor trying to make one city, let's get behind the mayor and make one city. Thank you.
1 second, our city solicitor, I'm glad the councilwoman is here, but I want our city solicitor, Renee Garcia, to give you an overview of what this administration did with UC Townhomes.
Townhomes is our baby, right? This is our baby. Okay, so I feel it personally. I jumped up, I don't know if you saw me, when we say we abandoned the UC Townhomes. So let me talk about this deal. So we got free land for the city to build affordable housing.
I'm just saying, I'm like, you're saying affordable housing, but I'm like, I don't have housing. That's all I'm saying. I understand, I'm just weird, but I'm not.
We negotiated $3.5 million for the tenants. That's on top of relocation. Each unit got $50,000 to set them up for success. It's never happened in this country. It has never happened. I got calls from around the country. It has never happened. We have the property going to PHA. The hearing was yesterday. And how much money in the budget?
$14 million to build 75 plus new units of affordable housing.
Excuse me.
Affordable forever.
Excuse me, and Councilwoman Gautier, and when was that money secured?
During this budget, through the great partnership of Mayor Parker, my office, and the council president.
It's about